home to, and right above me on the balcony, like a scene from Shakespeare, is Mary. Mary.
Thanks very much, Ben. Well, I've been presenting the programme since 2012. Nothing compared with Nick Owen, of course. 1997 is when he first started. But two of our longest-serving presenters, they've racked up almost 73 years between them. That's longer than these guys have been around. Shefali has been speaking to Kay Alexander about how things have changed over the years. So, should we take a step back in time?
BBC One for the Midlands.
Goodness, Kay, you must remember all of those titles. But so much has changed since the 70s when you first started working for the programme. Have you any standout moments? Because you were something of a trailblazer, weren't you, in the 70s?
Well, it's kind of you to say so, but I do remember 1975 was the first International Year of the Woman. And the Midlands Today commissioned me to do things that men would normally do, like drive a steamroller, rally driving, and of course I had to drive the Severn Valley Railway. They also wanted to tie me to the tracks so that, you know, they like Hollywood films. But I'd also just found out that I was pregnant at that time.
Yes, tell us about the maternity ward, because not many women would look as glamorous as you shortly after giving birth.
Well, I was as high as a kite. I just had a little boy, so that was fabulous. I got a pigeon pair, it was lovely. I refused to let the camera crew film the birth, but I did make the trail and the introduction to the programme within 20 minutes of my birth.
And things have changed technically as well, haven't they?
Yes, they have, enormously. We filmed everything on film in those days, beautiful quality, but it had to be back in the building by 4:30 to be developed and then edited. So it was a very long process. But then we got video. And then, of course, we went digital.
So this is the gallery that puts out our breakfast and weekend bulletins. But in your day, it was a bit like a broom cupboard, wasn't it, Kay?
Oh, it was. It was tiny and it was very basic. We did our own controls. We put ourselves on the air and we took ourselves off the air.
Well, our set's gone through various reincarnations, but what do you think of this one?
Well, it's absolutely fabulous, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing. But one thing that hasn't changed is autocue. Now, when I started, we didn't have autocue. We had to actually learn as much of our scripts as we possibly could. The script was typed up on a roll of paper, which for obvious reasons was called the bog roll. And if, say, a court case ended just before we went on the air, we could cut out the old bit of script, type up the new script on the bog roll and glue it in place so that our script was up to date for the programme.
And I've seen changes too, from the way I produce to the way I present. At first, graphics were basic, with me standing in front of a green screen, which meant if I was wearing green, then I'd blend into the map and I would have to imagine the charts behind me. But nowadays, I can wear whatever colour I want and I can see all the maps on the screens around me. And if I wasn't indoors, I was outdoors on a few adventures of my own.
Being here on Splendid, it's easy to forget what she's all about.
Because we've had a lot of coracles overturning today. With the bandstand behind me, the conservatory in front of me with a lake, this is Wolverhampton's gem.
That's the forecast. Have a good weekend. Back to the studio.
Oh, gosh, Shefali, look what you've done over these years. For over 30 years, it's absolutely amazing. But I'll tell you one thing that hasn't changed. It might have changed the sofa, but it's still as blooming uncomfortable as it ever was.
But it is more comfortable than standing.
Yes, right.
Now, that was Kay Alexander and Shefali. Now, this is the engine room of the programme. It's the production gallery where Midlands Today comes to you live every evening. As you can see, it's a real team effort. Now, Kay may have her reservations about just how comfortable that red sofa is, but you may have seen it's been out and about on tour. Ben